Welcome to the Fermented Homestead. If you're new here, my name is Anna, and on this channel, I'm sharing our journey of learning how to turn our home into a homestead. Today, we are taking part in the monthly collaboration, the Shelf Stable Pantry cooking collaboration. And today, we're gonna be making pasta. Later on, we're also gonna be taking a crack at making some pasta sauce from scratch. But for now, we're gonna be focusing on making sourdough pasta. For the whole month of September, I'm actually doing sourdough like every day of the week on my channel. And so I was like, how can I incorporate that? And I really wanted to make some pasta, so we're gonna give this thing a try. I've never made this before, so hopefully it will work. I'm actually making this recipe from ourgabledhome.com. I will link the recipe for you guys down below. And so it calls for 1 cup of ripe sourdough starter, 3 cups of AP flour. It says you can use other flours if you wish. And then 2 whole eggs and 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt, which it says is optional, which we will do. Okay. So you need to start this ahead of time, which is why we're starting it in the morning. It is 9:08, so this should be ready. If we get this thing actually fermenting by 10 o'clock, it'll be ready by 6 o'clock, and it is a very quick cook time. This recipe is a great recipe for what they call sourdough discard. If you're not into sourdough a whole lot, every time that you refresh the sourdough starter, which is daily or more than once a day, if you're keeping it out on your counter, depending on your ambient temperature, and then like weekly to every other week if you're keeping it in the fridge, you're gonna pull off some of that starter and then replace it with fresh flour and water. And you can they call it discard because some people throw it away. You don't have to. I save it in the fridge and just keep using it. So the recipe says to mix everything together in a bowl, and we're just gonna keep mixing it until it gets to be kind of the right texture, adding more flour as needed. So I'm gonna bring you guys down here, give you a nice close-up view, and we're just gonna mix all this stuff together. And I'm using this flat bottom bowl because it's just not as loud. The other bowls, like, they bring them up and scratch them down, and it's just terrible for audio. These are farm fresh eggs, so I like to crack them into a separate bowl just to make sure they are indeed farm fresh. You know what I'm saying?
At this point, if you found that your bread was really sticking to the counter,
So right now you can see the texture. It's very rough. It looks very dry. So we're gonna keep kneading this until this gets smooth. We might have to add a little bit of water to it, but overall, I think I just added maybe a teaspoon. So I think I'm gonna turn this out on the table. I think it'll be easier. It's a clean table. I cleaned it before. So I'm just gonna knead it like bread till it gets the texture we want. If it starts to stick, add more flour. If it's too dry, add more water. And I think it's dry because I didn't level off the scoops of my my cup. So I think I added a little bit too much flour, but oh well, life goes on, right? You can see even just that little bit of kneading. Okay, let's do this.
so they've puffed up a little bit. It's been 2 hours. They're going to rise beautifully in our 375-degree oven. They're going to be in there for around 40 to 45 minutes. I'm looking for a nice golden crust.
Cover the bowl and let sit for 8 hours, but it can be sooner. So we're just gonna cover this, put this in a bowl, cover it up, let it rise, let it do its souring thing, and then I'll see you guys back here tonight. So it's been much longer than I thought. It's actually 7 o'clock. So we're ready to process our noodles here. And it kind of busted out of the saran wrap and whatever. So we gotta flour our surface. We gotta flour our surface, kind of work it together a little bit, separate it out into pieces, and kind of roll it out. So this process, from what I gather, requires a lot of flour. I've never done this before. Okay, so let's kind of work it a little bit. I like the way you work it. No diggity. Okay. Bench scraper, super handy. Just kind of roll it into a bit of a log, I guess. And the recipe that I'm following said to cut it in like 4 to 6 pieces. I kind of want to be able to roll this out into like longer pieces to get some long noodles, so I might just cut it in half or thirds. Let's do thirds. So let's go ahead And I'm gonna roll this out into a bit more of a log. You kind of want like a rectangle shape. And if it starts to stick, you just add more flour. Maybe I feel like maybe I didn't need to flour that surface. I do this every time, I swear. Okay. Not bad for no pasta machine, huh? That's probably good. Let's get a piece of cutter. And I think for this part, we do want a little bit of flour just to kind of keep it from sticking, you know? Then, I don't know if this is gonna work, but we're gonna dry and kind of fold it to get us, make it a little easier to make a straight cut. So I'm kind of flouring the knife. Let's just do really thin pieces. Forgot about that part. You want to kind of get them in lots of flour to prevent them from sticking. I don't know why I'm doing these all one at a time. Just do this. I wish I thought of that 5 minutes ago. You don't need to do this one at a time. Okay, so we got first one done, and I think now we're ready to move on and make some pasta sauce to go along with this, and then we can boil these guys up. It's a very quick process. I'm gonna be using a recipe by the blog midgetmama.com, and it calls for 3 tablespoons of olive oil. I'm not gonna use olive oil because I don't heat with object oil. 7 cloves of garlic, 1 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. It says 2 cans of 28 ounce can crushed tomatoes. I just have this 18 ounce can, so I'm just gonna use 3 of them instead of 2, and that should be pretty much almost even Steven math. 2 teaspoons of salt, a teaspoon of onion powder, 1.5 teaspoons of Italian seasoning, and half of a teaspoon of lemon juice. So let's get cooking. That's the microwave. Sorry, it's the best view I can get you. So I need to heat up the pan here. So I'm gonna use avocado oil instead. I don't think I need 3 tablespoons. That seems rather excessive. Get it heating. So we're just gonna bring this up to a simmer, let it simmer for 20 minutes, and when we're about 5 minutes out, we'll have our water up to a boil. And while this is simmering away, I'm just gonna go ahead and cut up the rest of that pasta. I wanna show you real quick a better way that I found to actually cut these. This is much easier. The surface is not really floured, so it's kind of sticking here. And just taking a paring knife, and it was actually from Our Gabled Home. I watched the video that goes along with this recipe. So there's a blog post and a video. And you're just kind of pulling it with a nice paring knife, and it just works perfectly. This is definitely, out of the methods I tried, this is my favorite. I'm sure a pasta machine would be better. So feel free if you got one. And then these just pull up really easily. Separate them out. Drop them in the bowl of flour. Give them a little sauce onto the pile. That's the easiest way that I found so far. Got our water boiling. Now we're gonna add a ton of salt, like enough to make it like seawater. Like just add a bunch of salt. Wait for it to come back to a boil. All right, so we're just gonna add our noodles in. And it says it only needs a few minutes. We'll add like half at a time, maybe. I don't really know how long to cook it for. homemade
I'm back
sourdough
for spaghetti today.
Taste test.
Sourdough spaghetti?
That's mine.
That's yours?
That's yours.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Let's see.
Yeah, I did
try
it
the
separate
texture.
so you could taste the noodle first.
Mm-hmm. It's good noodles.
Mm-hmm. That has a nice texture to it.
Mm. Cool down first.
Is it warm?
It's too.
Like the sauce?
Sauce is alright.
No.
Noodles are good.
A little on the bland side?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to make sauce, so that's fine. I'll take that.
I'm used to making my own sauce all the time.
True.
So,
He's a much better sauce maker than
Yeah.
I am. I should have had him make the sauce.
yeah.
But the noodles are good. And that was the main event.
Noodles are good though.
So noodles are a win. The pasta sauce, not so much, but it's not terrible. It's just kind of bland. But if you like bland stuff, you'll probably enjoy it. We're used to kind of super spicy. Not super spicy, but a lot of spiced food with a lot of herbs and spices and stuff like that. So I would definitely call this a winner. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to link all of the channels that are taking part in this collaboration down below. Make sure you check them out if you haven't already. Subscribe, watch all of their videos. They're all coming out today. We all put them out on the same day. You can look for this logo right here, and that will be in everybody's thumbnail. And then, yeah, click down below, and I will have linked to both of these recipes. You can spice them up and tweak them however you like. So if you guys are new around here, we just moved to our 30-acre homestead in southern Missouri. And we're bringing you along, sharing with you all the things that we're doing to turn our home into a homestead. And most of that revolves around the kitchen, food preservation, canning, freezing, dehydrating, and fermenting, as well as bringing you videos like this one, sharing with you how you can actually use that preserved food in your everyday cooking. If that sounds awesome to you, click this button right here. This is the subscribe button. This is what tells YouTube that you want to come back here. Up here is a video that Mr. Google Pants thinks that you're going to enjoy. If you got FOMO and you want to know what we did yesterday, click this button right here. And then up here is going to be my sourdough playlist. Make sure you check that one out for all the awesomeness since the beginning of September. See you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.